back to the 6-card highlight reel. Obviously, this is a video with a lot of disappointing news. The Cleveland Cavaliers completed the sweep. The Raptors are officially out of the playoffs. They weren't able to win a game. This was along the lines of Game 2, where LeBron completely just took control of the game. And the Raptors really didn't have a chance. Yes, they tied it at one point at about 40 apiece. Valanciunas was going off. He was scoring on Tristan Thompson, LeBron James. Didn't matter. He was going off. Kevin Love. And I don't know what Dwayne Casey was thinking, but for some reason, Valanciunas got taken off, never really showed up again when it was a close game. He brought Lucas Nogueira in instead of Pirtle, and the ball game was over. That's all she wrote. This was another disgusting loss. Legitly another disgusting loss. DeRozan got ejected in the third quarter. And once he got ejected, they sat down Kyle Lowry. And he brought the bench in. The bench mob was a bench flop in this series. And that was it. I mean, there isn't really much to say. This was a disappointing series. I can't believe they got swept for the second year in a row. I thought they would have had more fight in them. And something's got to change, man. Something's got to change. Regular season success. We've been spoiled with so much regular season success within the last 5 years. And enough is enough. I could care less if they win 60 games in a season. If they're going to end up getting, taken out in the second round, I don't want that. I'd rather them win 42 games in a regular season and go to the finals, to be quite honest. And it's heartbreaking. I couldn't watch the game. It's crazy to think that you knew the series was over when they called Toronto LeBronto after Game 2. Game 1 was a devastating loss. It was legitly a devastating loss, but they were able to, it was a 1-0 lead for Cleveland. We could have came back and won that second game, but we had no heart in that second game. And just to think that if we were able to take games 1 and 3, it would have been a 2-2 series. And it sucks to see that everyone's talking shit about the Raptors, because Skip Bayless called the sweep, and that's exactly what went down. We didn't challenge the Cleveland Cavaliers whatsoever. And, it's very embarrassing to see that Indiana Pacers put up more of a fight than the Raptors did when the Raptors were the more experienced team. I understand that Cleveland didn't know what to expect from the Pacers as a team, as a whole, but that's no excuse. We got to perform better. And the series was kind of closer than what people are giving us credit for. Just because, everyone's looking at the 2 blowout losses as, the Raptors own the Raptors. The Cleveland Cavaliers own the Raptors because of those 2 blowout losses. And I'm not going to lie, they were pretty nasty. It was a 20-point loss and a 30-point loss. And I believe we're the very first place team to lose in the semifinals in about 49 years, which is really sad to see. Dwayne Casey's got to go, man. He's not a bad coach. I give him all the credit in the world. We've improved every year. I don't blame him at all. But some of those coaching changes, lineup changes that he did, whether it was within the game or before the game started, it was I didn't agree with a lot of them. Lucas Nogueira definitely didn't help this game. Regular season's one thing where you bring him in out of nowhere after not playing for a bunch of games, and trying to get a fresh face in there. But for the playoffs, he can't handle it. He doesn't know what the playoff atmosphere is like. He hasn't played much in the playoffs. I would have rather him brought in Pirtle and given him another chance. Pirtle didn't play well in the first couple games, but come on, man. Like, that guy, he's more of a mobile big, and he definitely could have done a lot more damage. Siakam, it is what it is. I feel like the locker room just needs a fresh new face, a fresh new coach, fresh new offensive schemes, and I think this is the time. We gave this experiment a good 5 years. The last 3 years have been pretty bad because we've been losing to the same team. Everyone says it's a psychological thing, and maybe it is because we haven't been able to get over the hump. It's embarrassing just to see these guys talk shit, like whenever the Raptors lose, I don't want to hear ESPN and anybody from ESPN talk about the Raptors, because it's like, you want the respect, you feel like you deserve the respect, but when they go out and perform like this, underperform like this, you just feel like, oh shit, they've been right the whole goddamn time. Because Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan can't do it. And it's not just on them two, it's the whole team. Bench mob, bench flop, whatever you want to call it, they didn't show up this series. And they should have. Kyle Lowry did his thing. I feel like he did what he could. Today's game he didn't perform, but as well as he could have. But DeRozan should have been better. Valanciunas, he did his thing. Ibaka, I don't know what the hell happened to Ibaka. After the first game in the playoffs of the Washington series, he completely disappeared. He's got to go. I don't care what you do, he's got to go. He's not that player anymore. I honestly thought we had something in him last year in the playoffs when we played Cleveland, because he played really well. Him and PJ Tucker played very well for us in that playoff series, but he was nowhere to be found this year. He scored 23 points and 12 rebounds that first game against the Washington Wizards, and after that I swear he scored like 6 points and maybe 6 rebounds the rest of the way. Fred VanVleet had a shoulder injury. You knew he wasn't 100%, you could tell just by the way he was moving, the way he was shooting. A healthy VanVleet would have made that shot game 1 before overtime. 110% sure. Just to know that both those games were a single possession, game 1 and game 3. A 1-point loss and a 2-point loss in 2 out of those 4 games. A 4-0 sweep could have been an easy 2-2. 2-2 series. Heading back to Toronto for game 5. We have an amazing team. Like, we have a really good team. It's just LeBron is LeBron, and we can't get over that hump. Now, if you play Boston or Philly or any other team in the second round, 100% we would have beat those teams. Guaranteed. Boston, we would have beaten 6. Philly, we would have definitely beat them in 6. Both those teams, we could have beaten 6 games. I promise you that. But for some reason, LeBron, even if he plays with a couple of scrubs or some, like 4 members out of the crowd in Cleveland, he would have found a way to win. I'm just playing, but the players that his supporting cast didn't show up in the Indiana series, and they all showed up against the Raptors. Gotta give him credit where it's due. Kevin Love showed up, J.R. Smith showed up, Kyle Korver showed up, Jeff Green showed up, George Hill showed up, Jordan Clarkson showed up at times, And Raptors just gave him too many open shots, and they were able to capitalize. They were able to get their confidence back, and that's all she wrote. He was toying with us. That was game 2 and game 4. He toyed with us. You could just see the way he was playing. Once he knows he has that 15, 20-point lead, he starts doing all this crazy shit. He starts ISOing you 9 straight possessions and tries to shoot whatever messed up shot he can find and somehow makes it. He did it in game 2 and game 4. He does ridiculous passes where he just, feels like he's on top of the world and he can do anything and everything he wants. And the Raptors can absolutely do nothing about it. And then you got Oprah Sai, who's going to wild out saying the Raptors weren't shit, You got all these other YouTubers that are going to say that crap. It's just what it is. I mean, we can't say otherwise just because, we haven't been able to prove ourselves. Regular season, maybe. But even since 2016, when we were able to win 2 out of the 3 games against Cleveland, we haven't done jack shit against Cleveland, whether it was a playoffs or regular season. They've had our number since. And a lot has to do with the fact that they didn't know what to expect from us that first year when we made it to the conference finals and played them, where we took them 6 games. But ever since then, they've kind of figured out every scheme that we have, and we haven't been able to figure them out the same way, no matter who the supporting cast is. We thought coming in this year, going into the playoffs without Kyrie, it would be a lot easier, but for some odd reason, we weren't able to do it. For a joke, I said, I think around the first quarter, that we need to start over, and I mean move the franchise to Seattle, and call it a night in Toronto. And somebody on Bleacher Report for the Raptors said the same thing, and I tripped out. But it's true. I mean, I feel like if we're in the city of Toronto and we play Cleveland, it's meant to be that we can't beat them. But either Lowry, DeRozan, and Dwayne Casey gotta go. If this is how it's gonna be, we gotta restart. We gotta blow this shit up. I mentioned this in my previous video that if we can't sign a superstar that can make a difference on our team, then I don't want to see this team coming back again. I can deal with us not being good for the next couple of years to get us star talent through the draft. But if I see Masai draft another Bargnani, like Brian Colangelo did, I'm going to personally take him out. No games. That year in 2006, we could have easily drafted LaMarcus Aldridge. But we thought European talent was the way to go, and we completely messed that up. In 2009, we drafted DeRozan. Can't complain, but clearly he's not able to take us over the hump. And if we just moved up the draft a couple picks, we could have potentially drafted Steph Curry. 2011, Jonas Valanciunas. He's a good talent, but we had options there. Obviously, no one knew at that time, but we could have got Klay Thompson, number 11, who went to Golden State. Kawhi Leonard, who went to Indiana at number 15, but then got traded to San Antonio for George Hill. Or Jimmy Butler, who went to Chicago. We could have got those 3 over Jonas Valanciunas. I could keep going. Terrence Ross, number 8 in the 2012 draft. We could have got Jay Crowder, number 34. We could have got Draymond Green at number 35. Damian Lillard, unfortunately, was a number 6. Anthony Davis was the number 1 pick. Couldn't do nothing, but, Draymond Green, I'd take that any day of the week. Especially with the way Ibaka played, Man, I love Draymond Green's game. I love his hustle. That's the type of player we need. A guy that has that type of, dog in him, that isn't scared of LeBron. Because right now, majority of the people on the Raptors, the players on the Raptors roster, they're scared of LeBron. You could tell. You see them drive in the paint and they just bust a UE and throw it out of bounds. Like, why? Ibaka turns the ball over almost 95% of the time when he sees LeBron. That's the reason why we lost game 2. Legitimately, we had a 2-point lead, 63-61, going into the half, coming into the third quarter. And I can't remember exactly who inbounded the ball to Ibaka. He dribbles the ball a couple times, about to cross half court. LeBron James, hesitates, kind of trips him out a little bit, and takes the ball from him, makes him turn it over. They go on an 8-0 run, then have a 6-point lead, and never look back. And we lost game 2 just like that, within a blink of an eye. And guaranteed, if that never happened, I feel like we could have won. Oh my God. It's so aggravating to think of, man. Game 1 and game 2, we had both those games. But the fucking Raptors, why do you guys have to do this every year, man? God damn. It's like we think that it's gonna change, but it never does. No matter who's on our team. And that's why I'm saying if we're gonna try and get past Cleveland, or whether LeBron retires and we start over, we can't come back with the same team. This team is psychologically messed up, and LeBron has a huge factor on that. And don't know what it is, but he toys with us every time, and it's ridiculous. I thought last year's number 1 seed, Boston, got punked off by LeBron, but at least they had the cojones to win one game. Marcus Smart turned into Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, whatever you want to call it. He shot like 5 or 6 threes, scored like 27 points, and him and Avery Bradley, Jonas Jerebko, they came clutch for them, and they won one game in Cleveland. But they were about to get swept in the first round, but they didn't, so kudos to them. They were able to take advantage of Rondo's injury, which is similar to what Cleveland did when Draymond got suspended. They were able to overcome the 3-1 deficit and win a championship. But let's reel it back in, because we're going off topic. And Boston was able to win one game, but the Raptors, I can't do it. Don't know why. The crazy thing is that LeBron demoralizes us so much that we look like such a weak team that can't beat anyone else in the East. But we can. We can beat any other team in the East. Any other team. 110% sure. Boston, Philly, Indiana, Washington, Milwaukee. Doesn't matter. We can beat any of those teams because I don't know what it is, man. LeBron, fuck hell, bro. Doesn't make any sense. All I know is that hopefully when July 1st hits and free agency comes around the corner, that we do something to change this team. I don't care if it's a sign and trade. DeRozan, trade him for somebody. Lowry, trade him. Let them go somewhere. Let them win a ring or something. It's not going to be with Toronto. Retire their jerseys in the rafters. We know that's going to happen. DeRozan, Lowry, Vince Carter, they've already cemented their legacy within the Raptors' history. It's time to let them go. Dwayne Casey, it's time to get a fresh new face with a new coach. And I feel like Masai knows his time. He definitely should know his time after getting fined for $25,000 the other day for Game 3 during halftime. But yeah, man. Disappointing season. Disappointing roster. Bench flop never came through, just like we expected, because they don't have experience. And it was a LeBron takeover. LeBronto. The LeBronto Raptors. Apparently they added that as new 2K gear. and that's embarrassing. I saw Larry sitting there depressed on the bench. Everybody sat depressed on the bench. DeRozan was nowhere to be found. When DeRozan walked off and went into the tunnel, it reminded me of when LeBron took his jersey off, and when LeBron took his jersey off and walked off before he left to Miami. It looked exactly like that scenario, and obviously it's a completely different situation because DeRozan's under contract and LeBron was hitting free agency. So, but if I'm Masai, I'm trying to get some dog players, some guys who are rough riders, like Stephen A. Smith says it. And I love Larry, I love DeRozan, I love our team as it is, but it's not going to get past LeBron. And for us, regular season success isn't enough anymore. We've passed that stage. We've had enough success in the regular season, and now we need to do something to make people understand and take us serious in the postseason. We need guys like Rondo, Draymond Green, Lance Stevenson, Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, Bismack Biyombo. OG Anunoby is a dog. Larry has that dog personality, but he needs more dogs in the fight to take it to the next level. Valanciunas is a little dog. Ibaka, I don't know, man. Ibaka disappointed me this postseason. I thought he was here to play after Game 1 against Washington. To see the Raptors season go down like this for the second year in a row, and 3 years in a row to Cleveland. Like, best case scenario, you want them to win. Worst case scenario, at least win a couple goddamn games, man. Take care of home court. How do you lose 2 games back-to-back years at home? 5 games in a row you've lost at home to Cleveland in the last 3 years. Every time I do these rant videos about the Raptors and stress out about the Raptors, I want to yell and cuss and all this, but we're trying to keep it PG. I know we slip up here and there, but it is what it is. I apologize to anybody who gets offended by my swearing and whatnot, but that's going to do it for this video. I've wanted to do, reaction videos to highlights for these past few games in these series, but I can't do it. The Raptors have got me 2 down, and they have. And I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it moving forward in this postseason, but that could change. And I apologize to if anyone was looking forward to it. But we'll be back with some more videos, more than likely. Not reaction videos, but other videos that you guys will be interested in and be excited to watch. But yeah, sit tight. We'll be back soon. Peace!
Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. Look how I'm kicking now. I'm so fitted. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. Yeah.